Get a life, nerd.
Hey everyone, Alkali here, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to glue foam pieces together. If you've ever done it before, you may have run into a few issues I have had in the past where you get gaps in the seams or other issues. So I'm going to show you how I put foam together using the inverted method. Today I'm going to show you this technique on a corset because most of the panels are curved, and curved panels are the hardest to work with. One tip I'd like to share before we begin is that I like to put my contact cement in an applicator bottle. Plexi Cosplay has a great tutorial on how to do this. Alright, so when working with contact cement, it won't work unless the pieces that you are gluing together are dry. Contact cement sticks to itself, so you will need to apply contact cement to both pieces of the foam in order for it to glue together. Because this process can take a while, I often will put contact cement on multiple pieces, especially when I'm working with a large piece like this, which has 8 pieces to work with. So what you'll see me do is I will apply contact cement to 2 pieces that go together, then I'll skip a piece in the lineup and then apply contact cement to the next pieces. This way I have multiple pieces in different phases of cure time, that way I can work as efficiently as possible. I put a lot of these corsets together for commission pieces, so I need to get them out quick. I never apply contact cement to both sides of pieces like this. That way I have a side that I can grip without getting contact cement on my hands. I use the edge of the glue bottle or a spare piece of foam like this leftover piece of foam dowel to spread the glue evenly. I cropped the video to show you this particular piece that I glued together because it's going to be uneven at the bottom, so make sure to pay attention to the bottom when I get down there. You can stretch foam to make sure the registration marks connect with each other. You have to make sure that the little marks that you can see on the foam are going to touch each other. On the third mark, it won't touch because I see while I'm doing this that I'm going to have an excess amount of foam. So because I can see that the foam is a little bit longer on one of these pieces, I need to take the foam and start squishing it together so it will all fit in the end. It's more important to me here that the pieces line up at the bottom so I don't have to trim any excess off. So squish those last pieces together to make sure the bottom lines up. I call this the inverted method, and I don't know if there's another name for it, but it's the name that I use. Basically, you identify what's going to be the outside piece of your foam and what's going to be the inside. So I glue the outside edges together first. So you can see from the back here that it's completely gaping open because I took special care to make sure that the front went together very beautifully. Now this is so important because when I'm putting the back together, I'm not caring that much if something doesn't line up or if there's a gap because it's going to be on the inside of this piece and no one will ever notice. Take care to notice here on a zoomed in portion that there is no gaps in the seams. The seams came together very well and you don't see any gappage or any appearance of glue or any breaks in the foam. It's nice and clean. If you're struggling to put your foam together without gaps, I would definitely try this method. I'm going to show it to you again here one more time, and this piece is just a little bit different because everything lines up really nice, but at the bottom you'll see I have another gap. Because I'm right hand dominant, if one gap's shorter on one side instead of longer, I usually tend to push the foam. So on the last one I showed you, the foam piece was longer in my right hand, so I pushed up that foam in order to make it come together nicely. And this one, the right side, which for the hand that I am dominant, is shorter. So you're going to see I'm going to end up pulling that side down. The great thing about foam is it is really stretchy and you can manipulate it to avoid gaps in your connection of the foam. So now we're at the point where you're going to see I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to pull that piece until it meets the bottom. You can really stretch it here. And this whole time I'm being very mindful to only connect the front outward facing top seam of the foam. So this way I can make sure there are no disconnections in how it connects together. When I turn it to the back, you can see how the back piece is not connected together yet. I find this method to work better than just pressing the 2 pieces together evenly because you can make sure that the outward facing piece is going to be the part that looks the best for your client or for yourself. If you're just making this for yourself or anyone else, you want that to look beautiful from the front. On this piece, I got pretty lucky because not only does it look good from the front, but the back came together nicely as well. On this next bit, I'm going to speed right through it so you can see me putting it together. Again, I'm taking special care to do the inverted method on all of the pieces. A piece like this is pretty curved in most places since it's designed to go around the smallest part of the body, so it's very important that I make sure the seams go together properly and I connect all the registration marks. You'll notice when you're gluing a lot of pieces together that it's often the last piece that has a problem. So I'm showing you this part to see everything goes together very, very nicely, but in putting the last 2 pieces together, I'm gonna have a little issue in a gap because I'm putting 2 extremely curved pieces together and it's hard to avoid. So next I'll show you how I fix that in this situation. Even experienced builders like me have problems in situations like this, so don't feel bad. It can be difficult to put 2 large pieces together. As you can see here, I'm kind of struggling, and you can see the big gap right where I'm pointing here. This occurred because I was rushing and I did not let the contact cement dry all the way. So I'm going to pull this apart with my fingers. You can see me pulling apart the seam, and I'm letting air get in there so that we can make sure that the contact cement cures. Then I'm just going to simply push it back together. Because it was done in the inverted way, it meant the seam was already put together properly to begin with. So there's no gap in the seam as far as alignment. There's only a gap where the glue did not cure. So separating the piece and then putting it back together again by squishing it like I am with my finger here will make it go back together. Then I'll flip it over and press firmly against the surface of my craft table to make sure that the gap is going to push together nicely, that the glue has cured. And there you see it, a fully constructed piece without any gaps. On the next episode of How to Put Foam Together, I'll talk about foam dowels and how to apply them without any gaps as well. Foam dowels can be tricky, but they make the finished piece look so nice. And bonus tip, they can cover imperfections that you might have. So next up, foam dowels and how to use them.